Welcome to Outback Outdoors. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the alert to stay up to date on all our new videos.
We, kind of did the old Groundhog Day, got up again, same time, early, got up on that basin, and it seemed like the mornings were better as the week went on. The evenings were worse because I think they were coming out later.
Right.
So it was kind of the last hurrah before we had to retool.
Yeah. And I noticed that some elk had been leaving.
Well, they start getting their, what I would call their pecking order. Like, when we first got there was 50 to 80 cows in that basin. And, 4 or 5 bulls roaming around. And the second day we get in there was a little bit less cows and there's kind of more bulls. And the third day it was just like this morning it was like totally different. Like you got in there and there was bulls that had their 5-6 cows, and it was in pieces like everywhere. Like they started separating cows like crazy this week.
And this morning we popped over and we got a good start, so we were kind of early, and Eric said that he had heard a bull bugling on the ridge, so we were being real careful, letting it get light enough where we could kind of check everything off. And then we got to our little rock outcropping glassing spot, and there's a bull, a 6x6, in the same place that the big 6x6 was at on Monday.
I think Eric originally thought it was him.
He's like, "Oh, that's a big bull." It was a nice bull for sure. So I was excited. I'm like, "Oh crap, is that the bull?" And then I got to look at him. I'm like, "Definitely not." So immediately just kind of, kicked him out of my mind. We also saw that 5-point leaving or going up above timberline on the other side, and that's what I was saying. Like, those cows came up to us the night before, and I'm pretty sure they were just leaving the basin, and so. We saw a 6-point. He's with a couple cows, 5 or 6 cows. And I look across, and there's that big 6x7.
And he had less cows, too, than he did 3 days before.
Yeah, less cows for sure.
But the cool thing about it is you guys decided you were going to get aggressive.
Yeah.
And
it was kind of more of we sitting there, and Tanner looks at me and says, "I'm going, you ready?" I'm like, sure, why not? Let's go.
And you guys bailed off, and your plan was you were going to be in, they could see you.
Yeah, plain sight. The sun hadn't come up, and we just basically had willows with a couple trees here and there in between us and them, a big wide open basin there, probably 1,000 yards away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we get to the bottom of this hill, we're golden. If not, we're kind of screwed. But I was like, we're just going to go and then check every so often and see if the cows see us. And if we're good, we'll just keep going. If not, we'll probably just, if all the cows are staring at us, we'll probably just sit down and let them do their thing and hope that they're not too buggered. So,
and to a point, he was almost trying to herd them from going into the timber. Right. He didn't want them to be in the timber. And what that did for you guys is it gave you the ability to get to the bottom and work across the bottom to try and get in position that if he came across, you'd have a shot.
Yeah, there's a little, the place we wanted to set up the night before was actually my goal. There's a little patch of trees that's, a couple 100 yards from a little flat that they had always crossed through. And the morning before, you guys had watched him go high on this basin but then drop into that flat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, if we can get to these trees, there's a chance that he'll come within range, drop in within range, and I might have a shot. So that was the goal.
He's coming left to you guys. He's coming down to get that cow. Cow's right there. And they could have a 70-yard shot at him. Stay low, there's a cow right there. I can go behind these trees right here.
And so we took off, and like I said, I'm stopping every 50, 60, 70 yards and looking at the cows. And every time I look, they're looking away, their heads are down, feeding, whatever. He's running around. And we started to get into the bottom, and they're high enough on the other side where they still had a good view of us. And a couple of times he stopped in the wide open and was kind of looking out over the basin towards us. And so we just had to, stop there.
But you couldn't have shot him then.
No, we couldn't even see him.
I remember looking through the 1-400, the long lens, and we're on him, and we're watching him. He's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then all of a sudden, in the lower corner, there's your blaze orange.
Yeah.
And you could hardly see Levi because Levi was in all camo. And as he came up, we were looking. There's this little bluff with some pines. And he was working around a knob where the cows were back there, back and forth. And if you could get to that bluff,
yeah,
I felt really confident you were going to get a shot, because even if they went to the timber, they were going to go right by you.
Yeah.
Within 100 yards.
Yeah, and when we got to the trees, the safe play was to sit there in the trees. We won't get winded. They're going to go back to the timber at some point. And we got there, and they're still up on that flat above us. We definitely can't see them now. There's that little kind of rock bluff like you're talking, with some little shorty pines on there. And for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm going there.
Do it whenever.
Oh yeah, you shot him. Go down, buddy, go down.
Go down.
Thanks for watching Outback Outdoors. We encourage you to comment below, and as always, like, subscribe, and click the alert to stay up to date on all our new videos.